Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Fantasy EFL Show, sponsored and produced by that Millwall podcast. As you can see, it's going to be a short show tonight. Haven't got my co-host, Mr. Ben Green, with me. He's somewhat unavailable, so we're going to do a rapid show, go through game week 10 as I had it, look ahead at the league table, and then look forward to game week 11, a double game week 11. So let's just get stuck straight into it. Looking at my team, looking back, quick review, 61 points, not a terrible return. Few players let me down. Bass, the Notts County keeper, in that late draw that they rescued away at Chesterfield, only picked up 3 points. Vice captain Aaron Wildig, and they lost away at Harrogate, only picking up 2 points. Didn't do anything for my vice captain role. Someone I picked out to have a look at, though, Armani Little, and although Gillingham lost, he still picked up a goal, still got 2 interceptions. Someone I looked at as being a player that can do the best of both worlds, get them interceptions, get them key passes, chip in with a goal now and then. And that's what he done this week. So in them international breaks, they're the type of players that you need to look out for because they do come up trumps. Someone like that, looking at them point returns for the defensive side of the game for midfielders, if they can do the best of both worlds, definitely have a look at them. And Amani Little has proven he could do that this week. Poku again, someone who delivers on a weekly basis at the moment, got an assist in that 3-3 thriller at home to Rotherham. And Dimitri at the back again, 13 clearances, 4 blocks, 3 tackles in a hard-fought draw away at Doncaster. Someone who, again, is also a big points getter in my team anyway. He picks up 93 total points. He averages 9.3 points a game, and he's almost 17% selected. So he's very much in the eyes of most of you. So I haven't got to talk to you about Dimitri a lot. But someone I do want to talk about is Andy Cook. Now, I spoke about Andy Cook as well, someone that players should be looking at, a player that has hit a bit of a rich vein of form. 9 points last time out in the home win at Newport, and he delivered again away at Tranmere. Another win for Bradford, who look to be finding their feet, look to be performing very well. And Andy Cook's a big part of that. Got 26 points, 13 points if he didn't captain him, but 2 shots on target, resulting in 2 goals. Very clinical at the moment. So looking at him as a overall player to have even without the international break is pretty much a banker at the moment. 62 total points, one of the highest scoring strikers in the EFL at the moment. When you look at the list of strikers, there isn't really many that are better than him. He's top 3 at the moment. He's only behind Josh Madger and Signs of Norwich, 4 points at the moment. So someone I expect to be in a lot of teams this week. And then, of course, Barrow, Gillingham, 2 teams fighting high at the top of the table. Lost to teams right down fighting at the other end for survival in the table. So not a good points return in my teams, but 61 overall. Pretty content with that. It's moved me up to 35th in the league, which I'm slowly creeping up. But let's take a look at your Fantasy EFL Show League table, going through to the top 10. Number 1, as always, inevitable. Name stay at the top. Picked up 45 points in game week 10. Not a big point return, and only sits 2 points off of JPFC in second. So, has to have a big return this week with that 65-point return for JPFC in second. EFL Fantasy Josh, friend of the show. Well done again, 59 points, 655 points now up into third place. Top 3 haven't moved since game week 9 kicked off. Just moving up, though, into fourth place, Just Slewitt on 649 with a good 70-point return. And Evans above, down into fifth place, 52-point return game week 10 on 645. Waymaker stays at 6. Take it as he drops down into 7th. Our very own Greensy Lions, Mr. Ben Green, up to 8th place, Jasper FC down to 9th, and Teletubsies, I like that name, Teletubsies with a 51-point return, breaks into the top 10 for the Fantasy EFL Show League table. And the top performer this week has been a couple with some special mentions. Lisa Scott Leeds moved up to third in the game week, 10 points with 73. Sergeant Sausage, who was a top performer recently, picked up 75 points. But the top performer this week with 86 points, Spartans, managed by Mr. Rowland. I reached out to you on Twitter. Good return, two good returns from your teams. AFC Wimbledon, really good result, smashing Carlisle at home 4-0, picking up the win. And Bradford, as we just spoke about, they got a win as well in their result away from home. So extra points there as well. You've got to remember, you get extra points if your team wins away from home. So think about that. Big points return from Andy Cook. Didn't captain him, but Jata got on the score sheet and the vice captain in that draw that they fought back away at Chesterfield. Kwame Poku again captained him with his assist that he got this week in the 3-all thriller and his two key passes. Archer, the Cheltenham Town midfielder, who had a Cheltenham Town guest on the show, friend of the show, Harry Evans. He didn't mention Ethan Archer, but Ethan Archer, really, really solid return there. 16 points, played the full 90, got an assist, got on a goal, two interceptions, three key passes in their loss at home to Cheltenham. He could have done no more in that game in the game that they lost. He literally done everything you want from your midfielder, the defensive side of it, the creativity side of it, and nicking a goal as well. 16 points there. And Anthony O'Connor, the defender of Harrogate Town, who picked up a good win as well. 0.9% selected. Anthony O'Connor is in 11 appearances, 4 clean sheets, 16 goal conceded. But look at this, 109 clearances, 10 tackles. So, take a look at Anthony O'Connor going forward, because in their impressive win at home to Newport, 7 clearances, 1 clean sheet, 2 tackles, played the full 90, and that has given Spartans a very good return of 86 points. So well done to you. That's your league table, and now we'll move on to the double game week that we've got in game week 11, and we'll take a look at my team. So completely changed it up. Only a couple of name stays in there. I've gone with Lucas Jensen in goal. I just fancy the matchup that they've got this week. Plymouth and Derby both coming to the Den. 9 appearances. He's kept 3 clean sheets. He's got a lot better. Clean sheet the last time out against West Brom. Hasn't been conceding too many. Picked up 4 points quite regularly. His last points all 9 points, 4 points, 4 points. So someone I think that at home at the Den against Derby, against Plymouth, I think could have a good points return this week. Again, Dimitri, I'm just not going to go over too much of him. 16.8% selected, 93 total points, averaging 9 points. He stays in games against Salford and Fleetwood Town. I've gone with a Charlton defender, Lloyd Jones, against Stockport County and Barnsley. Not worried about the matchups for Charlton. I think they're a good side. Good win against Birmingham as well that they had recently. Jones has been a big focal point of that, averaging 7.7 points a game, total of 77 points. So getting him in there to complete my back two. Poku stays. Poku stays because of his points return. He's 12.3% selected, averaging 6.8 points. One of the top midfielders in fantasy. That's included because he gets points during the international break, which is fair enough. We understand that. But, 6 goals, 2 assists, and 11 appearances has to stay in. George Saville, I've captained George Saville, and this is why I like the matchup for Millwall against Derby and against Plymouth. But the key thing for George Saville is only 2.3% selected, averages 7 points a game. And while in 9 appearances, he only has no goals. He has no goals and 1 assist. But it's the interceptions. He gets 22 interceptions, 11 key passes. He's a real solid midfielder in a game where Millwall at home. I think they'll try and dictate the play in both games against Derby and Plymouth. George Saville's going to get on the ball a lot. He's going to be there to break up the Derby attacks, break up the Plymouth attacks. I think he's a sneaky pick this week for you to look at because of his defensive ability. And now and then, sod's law, it'd be the week at don't pick him, but now and then he does pop up with an assist, does get himself forward. He does take a lot of set pieces from Millwall as well, the corners. So you've got the option for him to get assists from corners. So yeah, I'll look at George Saville to be that enforcer, and I've captained him just to up the points if he gets any. Jack Rodoni, completing my midfield. 10 points last time out in the loss against Sheffield Wednesday. Got a goal, 4 key passes. 10 points in the week before that in the home win, the impressive home win against Blackburn. We played 90 minutes, got an assist, 3 key passes, 2 interceptions. Jack Rodoni, someone who's coming into his own. They're starting to play really good football. Coventry. I expect them with a favourable matchup against Preston North End away, QPR away. I know 2 away games, but think about the opposition. I don't really think much of Preston. They've had a bit of a resurgence. Got a win and a draw. They started to look like that they might find their feet, but I just like Coventry. I like what Mark Robbins is doing. They flutter a little bit, but he's too experienced, too good to get them out of it. And Rodoni will deliver on that. Looking at the striker now, the top performing striker in the entire VFL at the moment is this man, Borja signs, the Norwich City striker. 6.9% selected still, averaging 7.9 points a game week, 9 appearances, 7 goals, 2 assists. One of them was a hat trick, but 11 key passes, and he's getting 10 shots on target, averaging a shot on target every game. So look for him in their matchups again against Stoke, Preston North End. Expect Norwich to try and get results there. And I expect signs to be at the forefront of that. But also you can, Andy Cook was someone I looked at. Michael Cheek was someone that I looked at, in their matchups against Burton Albion and Birmingham City. Charles, the Bolton striker, someone again I looked at to pick up, against Burton Albion and Birmingham City, and Cheek against Tranmere Rovers and Doncaster. Looking at them strikers, are all favourable matchups. Alfie May's kind of dropped off a little bit. You haven't really seen him do the business as such. Josh Madge still at the top. Duncan Watmore is someone that you could probably look at for the favourable matchups, I believe, against Derby, Plymouth for Millwall. 4.2% selected, 60 points. He's picks up 5 goals, 3 assists in 9 games, 14 key passes. He drifts off that left-hand side. He's top 4 in the EFL moment for points with a total of 60 points. So there's some other options you can look at, but that's what I've gone with. Jensen in goal, Dimitri and Jones at the back, Poku, Saville and Rodoni making up my midfield, and Signs up front in a 2-3-1. And my 2 teams to look at, here again, I've gone for both teams that are playing at home to start with. Port Vale have an away game, but love Port Vale. Port Vale at the moment are flying really, really well at the moment. Good win against MK Dons, good win against Notts County. Picked up a draw away at home, to Colchester United, but then it's win, draw, win, win, win. They just don't seem to be losing. Don't seem to concede a lot as well. So, look out for them, that big hitter. Home to Fleetwood, then away to Harrogate. And then Millwall again. I'm looking at the home games for Millwall. Good home return, beating Preston 3-1. They lost to Luton at home, but they was probably the better team, deserved to win. Beat Sheffield Wednesday at home. Was unlucky to lose in the game at home to Watford. So they're really good. Millwall, really good side at home. They just get unlucky a little bit, but I expect them against Derby and Plymouth to do the business this week. So they're my 2 teams that I've picked, Derby and Port Vale. So just to run for it, Lucas Jensen in goal, Dimitri and Lloyd Jones at the back, Kwame Poku, George Saville captained in midfield with Jack Rodoni, and Borja Signs up front. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your teams in the comments when the show goes out. Show will be going out as a podcast first for you to get your listens in, and then the visuals will go out hopefully the next day on the Saturday morning perhaps, or the Friday evening, for you to have a little watch over for before your games. Let's take a little look at some of the fixtures that we got coming up. We got a full studded cast coming in at the weekend. Leeds United at home to Sheffield United. That's the big one tomorrow night. That's the big one. Probably the game of the weekend in that sense. Leeds at home. Luton are home to Watford in the early kickoff at the weekend as well. Derby game for them. Blackburn take on Swansea. Borough at home to Bristol City. Millwall at home to Derby. Queen's Park Rangers welcome struggling Portsmouth. Sheffield Wednesday and Burnley. Stoke Norwich. Hull Sunderland. Oxford West Brom. Preston Coventry make up, and Cardiff Plymouth make up your championship fixtures for the first game week. And then we look at League One and League Two. You've got Shrewsbury Exeter tonight on Thursday night. Don't know if the show will go out in time for that. Reading Crawley, Wycombe Peterborough, Blackpool Barnsley, Bolton Burton, Cambridge United Wigan, Charlton Stockport, Huddersfield Bristol Rovers, Lincoln Birmingham, Mansfield Stevenage, Northampton Town, Leyton Orient, Rotherham Wrexham make up the weekend's fixtures for League One. And in League Two, again, very, very much the same. Newport, Chesterfield, Accrington take on Barrow in the early kickoff. Newport take on Chesterfield on the Friday night at 8 o'clock, so check that one out. Bradford at home to Gillingham. Bromley take on Tranmere Rovers. Carlisle, Harrogate, Colchester, Cheltenham, Crewe Alexander Salford, Grimsby, Walsall, Morecambe, MK Dons, Notts County, Wimbledon, which would be a really good game. That will Port Vale, Fleetwood, Swindon, Doncaster. That makes up the weekend's games, and you can check out your 1945 kickoffs for the second part of the game week. You could check them out as and when they go out. So with that, again, like I said, short show. Hope you like the team. Hope you like the reasons behind some of the teams. Again, like I said, send me your team and let's have a conversation. But if you like the show, please like, share, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Show will go out as a podcast and then it will go out for the visuals. And until then, speak to you and see you on the next one.